So Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk went after Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro. So a little bit of a preface here. Basically, if you guys don't remember, or don't know already, there was this whole fiasco that went on where there were a bunch of right wingers trying to do. First, it was Ben Shapiro who wanted to do a debate with Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, and then Dave Rubin hopped on the train, and then Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk also hopped on the train, and so there were a bunch of imbeciles who are these right wing pundits who are going in with ill intentions to do some gotcha questions and get some of those kinds of answers. And it's really dumb because there's not really a situation that's really analogous to that in any way that I could even think of. I think Jank, after that happened, came out and said, like, I want to debate Ted Cruz. That's pretty much as analogous as it gets because pundits debating each other makes sense because they're both pundits. It's virtually unprecedented for someone who's a Democratic nominee or a nominee of either party of a district to go in and represent them in the federal government to debate someone who's on the other side who is not part of their constituency and is as crazy as Ben Shapiro is. And we obviously know that that's quite the situation. So Dave Rubin responded to one of Cortez's tweets saying, "Hi, Alexandria. Would you like to debate Ben Shapiro? I'll be happy to moderate and donate all proceeds to the charity of your choice." So that was one of the I want to say sort of appeal to emotion tactics used to really garner the feels of the conservatives to make them feel like they really did something good. And to feel like make it more of a case against AOC. And that was basically that, first it was some people were saying, like Dave Rubin, were like the proceeds of this will go to charity. Other people, like Candace Owens, for example, and I don't remember if Charlie Kirk did this either, they literally said they have like rich donors who are Candace Owens said she had a group of donors willing to give $100,000 to the campaign. That's hilarious because you're exposing yourself as frauds who as just being a complete fraud who's being totally bankrolled by your coke daddies, your sugar daddies, who are the Koch brothers and the other rich right wingers. So in the process of trying to do a gotcha on an own of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you just dunked on yourself because you just exposed yourself as someone being bankrolled by the right wing. And so this is one of the tactics. And Ben Shapiro responded to that saying, stop catcalling her, because that was there was a analogy made to catcalling when AOC responded to that. Funny enough, first of all, it was just an obvious, purposeful misinterpretation and misrepresentation to act as if she was saying he was a catcaller, because obviously that's not what she was saying. She was making a comparison, an analogy. And what is hilarious is that Ben Shapiro proceeded to act. I remember Dark Matter tweeted this out on Twitter. He was like, he said that Ben Shapiro is literally doing what a catcaller does by constantly talking about her over and over and over again. It was hilarious to point that out. But so Ben Shapiro is all in on this. Again, I want to state how dumb of an idea this is. What representative, not even a senator, by the way, not even representing a statewide, someone who's a representative of New York District 14 is going to have a debate with Ben, total misintentioned Ben Shapiro. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no situation that has happened. It's unprecedented for something like that to happen. You don't see Ted Cruz debating Kyle Kulinski. You don't see, I'm trying to think of other examples like that. I mean, you don't see Donald Trump debating David well, that doesn't work. But anyways, you get the point. I hate analogies, period, but sometimes they're necessary just to compare here. But Jank, after that happened, had said, hey, like, let me debate Ted Cruz, which is probably the most analogous thing. So Kyle responded to this on Twitter. He said, Rubin acts like he hasn't been dodging Cedar for 2 years, and Shapiro acts like he didn't tell Politicon, quote, no debate this year. Parentheses, he did. I floated a debate with him. But yeah, keep annoying a congresswoman whose job isn't to debate right-wing media goofballs. So obviously that's right on all accounts. There's actually more detail to that than he just stated there. recall that Rubin's he's not just dodging he's not just dodging Sam Seder. He's also dodging Anna Kasparian now. He refuses to. I don't even think he's acknowledged her at this point. There was that clip that I showed you guys when he was on the other sellout John Stossel's show or whatever, the libertarian guy. So, I mean, he knows what Anna's been saying, and Anna's just been mauling the crap out of him over and over and over and over again. And she made an entire segment saying, I believe it's titled, like, Dave will have anyone on but me. So, he's dodging multiple people. And I said I'd have him on here. I mean, I've had people who are bigger on here, but anyways, I already knew he wasn't going to come on, but it would be pretty bad if he did. It would be pretty damn bad. Now, the Shapiro thing is very hilarious because this guy claims to be a debate god, he does claim to be that. Sorry, he made an entire book called like 7 Ways to Debunk Leftists or something like that. It's really, really cringy. I think it's like 7 Ways to Debate and Destroy Leftists. The cringe is real, dude. If Nappa had asked Vegeta what the scouter said about his cringe level, he would say, yeah, so you already know what he would say. So this is pretty hilarious, but I want to expand on this too, because I had made a whole segment following up and explaining that I refuse to let this go under the rug, okay? Because if the roles were flipped, and they have been in the past, the right would refuse to stop going at it like yapping over and over ad nauseum, okay? So I'm going to respond by sticking to it ad nauseum, although I haven't been doing a very good job of it because I mentioned it like 2 or 3 times. I did a whole segment breaking down all of the people who have been backing out like little bitches, okay? Politicon exposed everyone. So Ann Coulter's an elitist prick. We know that because she backed out of a debate with Kyle Kulinski. She would have got absolutely demolished in that debate anyways. But that started a trend. So we found out from Sam Seder that Steven Crowder got cold feet. This man got so scared, and I guess his dad is his manager, and his dad came to the conclusion that, like, you probably want to stick to debating college kids on college campuses, son, because this guy might beat you really, really bad, like beat you to a pulp. And we saw Sargon beat Steven Crowder in a debate pretty bad too. So it does kind of make sense, man. And it was so bad that he ghosted Politicon. He didn't even respond. He just straight up if you don't know what ghosting means, you just don't respond anymore. You just totally, you go ghost. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So, Steven Crowder, by the way, I want to remind you guys, and I made a couple videos on this, and Sam Seder's made a couple of videos on this. Sam Seder issued a challenge debate video, and Steven Crowder has yet to respond. And he says he has sources that Steven Crowder knows. Even prior to him saying that, I already knew that Crowder knows, because Crowder has his pulse on YouTube, okay? He knows he has his pulse on the internet. He sees what's going on. He knows that Seder challenged him. He's just too much of a little bitch to actually do it. And it's a calculated move on his part. And by the way, there are morons who are Crowder fans who actually were apologizing for Steven Crowder. Well, I guess that shouldn't be surprising. But their root of argumentation was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So Sam's at something like 410K subs. And I think Crowder's at like 3 million now. I don't know how it's still growing like that. But their argument was that, Steven Crowder's channel is way bigger. Dude, then who is Steven Crowder going to debate? Who's left? TYT, that's it? Who has that many subscribers? Only TYT has more than him at this point. And it's 400,000 subscribers. How could you deem a 400K sub channel too low for you to debate based on sub count? And it's even worse when you factor in that he debates college students. This is the level of intellect being exhibited by Steven Crowder fanboys, and that should just tell you how big of cucks they are. So, again, I want to reiterate that this is really bad. So, the Ben Shapiro point, he actually claimed he claims he's a debate god. He didn't even do a single debate at Politicon this year. He 100% dodged it. Kyle Kulinski came out and he said, hey, I floated the names that you guys wanted me to float. That list consisted of people, Jesse Lee Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and a bunch of other people on the list. Ben Shapiro backed out. He didn't back out because he never agreed to it. He just didn't accept. Now, we've seen those roles flip before. What did the right do? Yapping over and over and over and over ad nauseum, over and fucking over again. Okay? So again, it's my turn to be at ad nauseum at this point, okay? These people are frauds. How can Dave Rubin, of all people, he's got like 3 or 4 people he's just straight up ghosted, banned, shadow banned from his own show. You won't have Anna Kasparian on because she'd maul him. You won't have Sam Cedar on. Oh my God, imagine if Sam Cedar went on his program. His entire life would be shattered. I mean, his fans probably wouldn't come away with anything different than they already think. But trust me, man. He would destroy. We've seen Joe Rogan, of all people. Joe Rogan demolished this man's entire life's beliefs. Entire life. Like his entire taxonomy just demolished by Joe Rogan. Could you imagine Sam Cedar on Dave Rubin's show? It's crazy to even think about that. It's honestly insane. And so, again, back to the original point here being, why would Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a now Democratic representative for New York 14, have a debate with Ben Shapiro or Dave Rubin or Candace Owens or any of those pricks? Why? That doesn't make any sense. What does she have to gain from that? She's there to represent her constituency of New York 14. She's not there to take part in these shady debates in which Ben Shapiro does massive straw mans where it's like, well, libcuck, why don't you want 100% tax rate? That's literally an argument that he made. I'm not making that up. That's this guy. This is the debate god on the right. He straw mans so hard, it's unbelievable. But it'd be like Cenk like going, like he challenged Ted Cruz to a debate, right? It'd be like me now coming on saying, Ted Cruz won't debate Cenk Uygur. Why don't you do it, man? It's like, no, the reason he did that is not because it's rational to do that. The reason he did that was to make fun of the right wing, as in, like it's a way to make fun of them, to mock them, and show how dumb what they're saying is. That's what it is. So I'm truly astonished at the level of hypocrisy and the contradictions made by these people on the right who are supposed to be... And by the way, Dave Rubin is extremely bad. Well, both of them are, because Shapiro's a guy who supposedly is down to debate everyone but passes on a debate with Kyle Kulinski. Dave Rubin is supposedly all about the free exchange of ideas. By the way, Dave Rubin is a careerist beyond belief. What Kyle said, the evidence for that just keeps on mounting over and over and over again. Now, on the Ben Shapiro show, in the Sunday special, he talked about how he was trying to up his career to go into the mainstream media, and he would be down to get a show on any of the networks. And then he just like randomly threw in like not for the money. It's like a little bit random that you threw that in there, dude. And then the worst one that really made it clear to me was he was on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News where they did like this total fluff segment that didn't mean anything. And he literally randomly invoked God. Like, that's how much of a careerist this guy is. They were talking about climate change and the fires going on. He was like, well, sometimes you just can't control what God does. It was an awkward way to put it, because you could tell he wasn't used to it. But B, when have you ever, I repeat, ever seen Dave Rubin talk about God, especially in relation to his political positions? Never. In fact, he was actually riding the Sam Harris train. That's what kicked off his show, was that Sam Harris interview. And I think they did multiple interviews, if I'm not mistaken. So that guy's a disgusting careerist. It makes me disgusted to my stomach because he doesn't believe what he's saying. He doesn't believe what he's saying so much that he told Ben Shapiro what the right needs to do is take in people whose positions are diametrically opposed to the right. He literally wants him to take pro-choice people into the right. What? What's the point then? What? All right. Anyways, horrible, hypocrisy, just complete and utter morons.